What's going on, guys and gals? Stock Jock here, up $781 in the first hour of trading. Um, as you can kind of see here, I did have a little trade that was going on with Tesla by the time the first hour was up, but I just didn't know how long I was going to be holding that, so I just decided to end the recording for the morning. I did finish up the morning much higher than that, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But let's get into the trades. Alright, so my first trade of the day was actually a short on ASND. This stock had good phase 3 results, but there was talk that there was an offering at $69, and I didn't do the research myself. I just thought that people were right. Apparently it's not at $69, and it dropped out of the gates, came back up. I just kind of shorted it, right? Took 200 shares short. It was very thinly traded, so it wasn't moving. I went short right through here. I thought I was going to just, fall off the face of the earth today. Created this resistance line. As I was breaking this resistance line, I covered. It was only 200 shares. I didn't really get that hurt on it, so I'm not going to really cover it in the video part. The first real trade I took was ZKIN. This one hits the scanners. My scanners that I use in the morning. It hits it. First one. It's a name I'm familiar with. I'm not sure if it's a Chinese stock. And the reason why that's important is today, the big runners were all these Chinese stocks. Because again, we had more good news coming out about the trade talks with China, and just Chinese stocks in general were just hot. Didn't matter if they were a real company or not. If it was China related, if it had China in the name of the company, it was going to go up. So this one pops up on my scanners, breaks high day. I'd go long, take 4,000 shares at 167 right here, and then it just stalls out and nothing happens. Inside this candle, we break high day again by a penny, and just sellers come in. When I start seeing that the momentum has stopped going up, time for me to bail, regardless of how bad it hurts. So I start exiting. I exit it. First half for minus about a penny, second half minus 2 pennies. So I got out with a loss of about $90.
Nice on PETZ. Those of you guys that took the trade on
AWSM
it.
starting to go.
I made $4,200 on it, and I'm still watching it for another opportunity. GKIN.
Long ZKIN, just hitting my scanners. I don't know if it's a Chinese stock or not.
Watching the scans.
GTX 669. The offering price looks like it's 570, but not sure it's going back. I don't want to.
NCTY going back down.
Be one of those that run after the offering. It's priced at about $1 below here, but
AWSM on the scanners. This one I'm not going to jump into right off the scans, just because it already has quite a bit of pre-market price action. I need to make sure I have a confident pullback entry on it.
ZKIN starting to go again.
Freeport McMoran getting a big call sweep here. FCX, the April 18th, $13 strikes here. That's FCX,
90.
Freeport McMoran.
The spot to watch.
CVS just hit a 52-week low here. CVS.
We've got a starter PETZ. And I want to add for the break of $2. Just watch this here. Sold half.
All out.
high
165
is
ZKIN.
98.
Stop moving.
So this next trade was on HEBT. HEBT hits my high day low float scanner, and I look at it, right? And what the video doesn't show is I actually looked at this for about 2 minutes before I took a trade on it. So what happened here is I just got burned on ZKIN, right? We just saw that trade. So this one hits my scanners, and I'm like, okay, well, the first thing I noticed is that it can make 30-40 cent moves on 50,000 shares of volume, which is like nothing, right? So if it could do that, maybe if real volume came into this thing, it could get going. So that's why I'm like glued to it. So I'm sitting there watching the L2, and it's like 94 by 104. So it's like a 10-cent spread, which isn't bad at all, especially on these low float guys. But there's just no volume at this time. Like you can see here, we've got 700, 5,000 shares, 2,400, and then like 12,000 here, which is really nothing. So I'm like, okay, if volume comes into this thing, I'm willing to give it a shot. And finally, what happens is on the L2, there comes a 10,000 share bidder at like 95. When I see that, I immediately buy, and I hit 4,000 shares at basically 104, which at the time was high day. And I'm like, great, I get filled at high day, shocker. So I'm sitting there thinking, all right, worst case scenario. The reason why I took this trade is just simple risk reward. If it's hitting my scanners, it means it's abnormal volume for this particular stock. So it has a chance to go today. I get in, and I'm waiting. Finally, volume starts to come into it. It shoots up to like 118, 120 area. It starts blowing up the other chat rooms that I subscribe to, their scanners, and then like, that's just a small representation of all the traders out there that use these scanners, all the chat rooms that use these scanners. People are just starting to pile into this thing. Spikes up over 150. I sell half on the way up around 128, locking some profit. I sell another half at 150. I thought it was going to halt, but what happened is it broke through 150 and it came back down into the 140s, and I did not like that at all. If it was going to halt, it was going to do it on that first move. And the fact that it didn't is probably going to scare away some people. Looking back on it, it's broken this 200-day moving average before just by a little bit, and then kind of sold off. It's done it here. I didn't actually see that before I got into this trade, but that's exactly what happened today, right? Broke the 200-day moving average and then kind of sold off. So history repeats itself. But anyway, a lot of people like getting in for the circuit breaker halts. It looked like it was going to do that. It didn't. It started coming back down, and I sold the rest at 150 and 145. So this was about a $1,300 winner. It definitely got me green on the day.
Like 346 or so.
HEBT hitting scanners.
It is a Chinese stock, though.
This one looks like it can move. It just needs volume. There's hardly any volume on it right now.
So
right,
43
I'm going
minutes
long
into
this
the day, a real
HEBT.
flurry of momentum this morning.
Of course, I got filled at 104 high day. This is just kind of risk reward. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't go, I'm stopping out, 10 cents.
HEBT, let me look at this.
There it goes. Now the chat room's seeing it.
HEBT squeezing up. Watch HEBT over 25. I got a starter of HEBT, a 6,000 share starter, and I would add over 36, which is what looks like it's going to be
Sold
the halt
half
level.
at
Just added on HEBT at 55.
130.
Halt levels moved up a little bit, 85%. This one's taking off, being aggressive, adding into this halt here.
So another
Target
quarter
is
at
$2 on
150.
HEBT.
All out 145.
So I'm setting a $2 target. Watch this here.
So this next trade was actually a short on HEBT. You can kind of see me covering my ASND that I talked about earlier for a loss as it was, breaking that resistance line. But anyway, we're talking about HEBT. I went short at 126, and I actually thought I was getting in at like 128. I didn't realize it was short share restricted for some reason, but it was. So it took me a while to get short. And what I saw here is this broke the VWAP, came back up, pull back, candle over candle, broke through the VWAP, didn't do anything. Started coming back down, and I was thinking that if it broke kind of this ledge right here, it would start its downtrend. Because it gave everything the longs would want for a secondary move up. It just didn't do anything here. So I went short. I got filled finally at basically 127. It kind of puttered around here for a while, started, doing the 5-minute candle under candle, and I knew that if we broke, this level, this 116, there's a big window down to like, 94 or whatever. Honestly, I was looking for a break of $1 would be great, but if it stalled out, which it ended up doing, I was going to get out for profit. So at 10:02, where's that candle at? This candle right here. It dips down, gets to the bottom part of this Bollinger Band. I'm just thinking to myself, you know what? What's a few pennies, right? So I end up covering at 106 from 127, or we'll just call it 20 cents on 2,000 shares. That's $400. So it's a nice win, especially when, and again, I can hear the chat rooms in my ears. They're not interested in this anymore. So whoever's left in this thing is bag holders, and there's just no one looking to go long on this thing. Like I said, the longs had their opportunity, especially, I teach, pop, pullback, candle over candle. Well, here's your candle over candle after the pullback, and it literally got 2 pennies. Like, that would have been an entry point. And then after that, you got another one, candle over candle, does nothing. You got 3 pennies there. And it had the candle under candle was up next to be tested, broke it, and just never turned back. So good short, $400.
Multiple taps at the same exact price. This doesn't. Has a high of 50. A couple taps at 46 and 47 and 44. So it's a
I'm
wedge.
short HE.
Aon now considering an offer for rival Willis Towers Watson's. That's WLTW and AON. WLTW.
Right now. So, at this point, I don't see a clear opportunity to be long. I mean, you could be long over 40, but I think there's a really good chance it'll break 50 and come right back down.
Oh shoot, I thought it was filled. It wasn't filled yet. I got a partial fill.
So on this one, I'm not going to give into that kind of impulse to buy it here. I more would be short if it broke over $2.50 and then came back below it.
Now I'm filled. Average 127. Covered half of my HEBT at 106.
QTT, QOTL.
Cover the rest.
Spiking here, 1510, Quebec Tango Tango.
So this next trade was one that I've been stalking for a few days here. So it's a really, really pretty setup. MTP. So this thing went, and I can't remember the news, honestly. I don't care to look it up. It was something significant, obviously, because the stock went from, 12 cents to, $1.10 in 2 days. Insane move. So I was watching the Fibonacci retracement on this thing. So it's drawing it on from the low to the high. There's your Fibonacci levels, right? Most of the time, they'll pull back to the 61.8% level. If it's a really, really strong chart, it'll only pull back to maybe the 38 or the 50. But typically, you'll see it at this 61.5 level right here. So it popped up, came back down, and I'm just looking for the first daily candle over candle, as well as for it to hold this 61.8 Fibonacci level. And that's also significant because you have double support there. This is the 200-day moving average. So not only do you have the 61.8 Fibonacci level there, you also have the 200-day moving average holding that area. So it was like the perfect storm, right? Pop, pullback, candle over candle. Here's today. The break of 52 would have been the signal to jump in this sucker. So I was watching this all morning. It was just bouncing around, right? What's this key level right here that it got to? You guessed it, 52. It was hanging out right here, 52. Yesterday's high was 52. It tested it, came back down. Up to 51.5, came back down right here. So I set an alarm, and I don't know why this recording software doesn't show, pop-ups when they happen, but you'll hear the alarm go off, and you'll see me clicking in space when I run the video. But it's my alarm going off saying that if it broke 50, I think it was 51.5 that I set it at, or 52. I'd get alerted. I come over here. The thing had jumped 5 cents. I'm like, what? So, and you can see the volume that everyone was watching this thing, right? So volume comes in, 125,000 shares, crazy volume, right? So I'm chasing at this point, and I'm not too happy about it. So I wanted to take 10,000 shares for this break, but instead I ended up taking 5,000. I'm telling myself again, worst case scenario is that I have to sell for a -5 on 5,000 shares, which is what, $250. Okay, I'm risking $250. Best case scenario is this thing goes over $1 and just runs crazy. Anything in between is also profit. So I jump in and I have to hold this for about 15 minutes, or I guess this is 13 minutes. Much longer than typical. I get in, it goes, it starts moving up. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, look at this pop. Look at this. This is nice. 64. It's working. And then it drops all the way down here, and I'm like, no. Not interested in that. And when that happened, ideally I wanted to see a pop, sideways movement, pop, and then sideways movement. But here, the pop happened, and the pullback was 100% of the move. That is a bearish sign right here. This move right here looks much different than this move. See how this is a pop and then kind of sideways movement? The pullback doesn't come all the way down to here. On this pop, the pullback comes all the way down to the bottom of where the pop started. So that's 100% pullback. That's a bearish sign that this might not have the juice in it. And you kind of see from there, later on a different setup, it did pop. It looks like closed at 61. But for the time being, and being a scalper that I am, I'm not trying to hold all day. It was smart. It was smart to let it go. I only made, was this about 2 cents, $100 on the trade. Had a lot more lined up. Unfortunately, it just pulled back a little too much for my liking. Played it safe. Took the $100, moved on. Alright, I'm in MTP 57.
wanted in at 52, but it jumped from 52 to 57.
Sure. What's up around the China stocks?
All right, I'm out my MTP plus 2. I don't like how it's pulled back all of that second pop there. So maybe I'll wait for a 5-minute on it or something.
All right, so this next trade that I'm going to go over is FFHL. I did make one other trade, SGOC. It hit my high day Momo scanner. It's a stock I'm familiar with. It just didn't do anything. You can kind of see real quick. I get in on this volume surge here. Boom. Basically, I almost top-ticked it. Missed it by a penny and a half. Got in at 126. Literally, the volume just disappeared. End up selling it for a -4 or 3.5, whatever. But the trade I'm going to go over right now is FFHL, another stock that I'm very familiar with. And I was interested in it because it kind of was breaking out, right? It's known for these pops and drops. You can kind of see every single one of them. Every pop dropped 100%. Every pop dropped 100%. Dropped 100%. Dropped 100%. Dropped 100%. Dropped 100%. Dropped 100%. Here, same exact thing happened today. But what I thought was different is, I kind of just drew these, kind of like a resistance line through here. You also have the 200-day moving average at this 245 level. And I'm like, okay, well, if it breaks 245, maybe I'll give it a shot. So I'm looking at it, and I don't want to take this trade because I know it's just going to fall apart. So what do? I take this trade. So I'm sitting here watching it, and I'm like, okay, well, it's breaking this level where is it, 245? It's breaking this level that I was watching here on the daily chart. Maybe today's the day. And today was not the day. So I'm watching the L2, and it looks like volume's starting to come into it. It broke 50 cents already, came back down. I'm like, all right, it's going to break it again, right? It did. Let's see, 12.25. I get in here, right? pops up, comes back down. I get in. I'm like, and it's probably going to fall apart. It's probably just going to do what it has always done. As soon as I sell, what does the stupid thing do? It finally gets to move up to 270, which is up into this range, and, you know, I just missed the move. I sold too early. It just felt like it was a little heavy. The volume, as you can kind of see, is declining. It was time for me to get out. And it's just one of those things that I got it wrong. I would have made, you know, $400. Instead, I ended up having to lose about, what is this? Yeah, call it 3 pennies on 4,000 shares, $120.
No, the sim will already have it.
FFHL breaking 250 is actually significant because that breaks kind of a trend line resistance level.
Breaking over the $0.50.
Yeah, it was just a false break, it looks like.
High is 55. I have a 3,000 share starter short at 49. Stop will be at 55. But yeah, this one's at the 200 moving average. It has this history of popping up and selling off, so I don't really have a lot of confidence that it's going to hold this level super well. We'll see. I mean, I could be wrong, but I use the $99 a month Trader View plan because I want to be able to see my net profit after commissions. What's the float on XRF?
All right, so this trade really chapped my rear end. Okay, so CIEN had earnings out pre-market. It actually rose, and then when the bell opened up, this thing's just sold off. So this is the 5-minute chart up here. So what do you see here? Drop, relief bounce, candle under candle drop. Relief bounce, candle under candle drop. Relief bounce, right? What do you think is going to happen on the 5-minute candle under candle? If you guessed drop, you'd be wrong. So it already had worked. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Thinking 4 times would have been great, right? We're right at this 20-day moving average. Break that, we go down to this 50-day moving average. Heck yeah! All right. Nope. You can kind of see it here on the 1 minute. So, and we even had a 1 minute candle over candle right here. I'm sorry, we had a false break to the downside. Then we kind of had a false break to the upside. Another false break to the upside right here. And I'm like, okay, this is a lower high. The downtrend's going to continue. We break this 5-minute candle here for the candle under candle, right? I get in. I'm excited about it. And let's see. I short it. Let me look right here on the chart. Boom, right here. And as soon as I short it, it bounces. And it breaks. Not only does it break the high of the current 5-minute candle, it breaks the high of the previous 5-minute candles, which was here, showing that it's trying to reverse, and I am definitely not going to hold through a reverse. So I ended up stopping out for 10-cent loss, which is $200 in my world, and I was pissed.
Short at 40.50. I'm going to give it 10 cents on this.
PLNT and KSS Planet Fitness announcing development partnership with Kohl's. That's Kilo Sandy, Sandy Papa Lima November Tango. DIS, Disney. PIRC recommends Disney shareholders vote against re-election of Chairman and CEO Robert Iger. That's DIS, Disney. EFOI, Energy Focus, popping to the high $1.26, now to $1.23, up about 6%. Echo Foxtrot Oscar, India.
No, you don't get
Covered
charged for
minus
cancel
10.
orders.
So that was pretty much the morning. I did have a couple more trades. Like I said, one was CHNR. I ended up losing like $10 on that one, and then this TSLA trade. And it looks really terrible now. It's crazy. I was up like over $1,000 on it. I had really good news out. I'm like, this thing is going up $20, and it didn't. So it was up over 1,000, then I was down over 1,000. I think I ended up getting out of it for like $100 loss or something like that. But I actually ended the day up close to $1,700, like $1,680. So it was a really good day. But this is the first hour and 15, so to speak, up $781. If you are at all interested in my free chat room, if you're learning how to trade, come on in. I'm here to answer questions. It's completely free. If you're also interested in any of the chat rooms that I personally subscribe to, they're all in the description of this video down below. More than happy to check those out. And if you have any questions on those, I'm here to help. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.